Hey everyone, we are back with our series looking at some of the men and women that were so instrumental in great moves of God. And we are going to look at Marie Woodworth-Etter, who absolutely had an influence over Emmy Simpleton McPherson. It really was instrumental in so many other lives, but really set the trail for women in ministry. She got saved at age 13, and really felt the call of the Lord on her life. But and as she continued to grow up and mature as a woman, certainly we were at an age where women weren't even voting, let alone preaching, let alone a single woman preaching. So because she could not understand the call of God on her life, and why she just felt so empowered that she was to give her life to the gospel, she assumed that the greatest thing that she should do would be to marry someone, and that would enable her possibly to fulfill her call. This is back in the day, and some individuals are still in that day where they misunderstood that God called both men and women to fulfill their call. Everybody is born with potential. Everybody is born with a call, with a cause, with an assignment on their life. And Marie Woodworth-Etter is just an incredible woman that stayed the course. She married a man. They had 6 children together, and faced tragedy not long after that. At some point, there was a disease that overtook many of her children. 5 out of the 6 passed away. To lose one child is horrific. To lose 5 really is inconceivable. But instead of getting bitter, instead of her turning her back on God, she continued, to love God. She continued to seek God. But no matter what she did, getting married, having children, working the farm that they were on, nothing satisfied or took away this inner desire that God had positioned her life for something different, something more. And so she began to go back into the Word to study a woman's place in the Bible and to see who God used in fulfilling His Great Commission. When she realized that women were used throughout the Bible and that Jesus was a great advocator and promoter of women in ministry, it began to set her free and allow her to finally answer the call that she has been struggling with throughout her life. And what a call it was. Marie Woodworth-Etter, she was known as a phenomenal of her day. She would break open towns for the gospel. They said that towns were just closed for hearing preaching, individuals' lives that had nothing to do with wanting to get saved or even hearing anything that had to do with the Bible. Marie Woodworth-Etter was used to come and break a town open for the gospel, and signs, wonders, and miracles would happen. She was known for trances that would happen in her ministry. Now, trances are another form of vision. So you can have an open vision where you are awake, and all of a sudden you see something in the realm of the spirit, and God is speaking to you, and it is a spiritual moment. It's a spiritual lesson. You can have a vision. We call those dreams while you were sleeping. But this is another form of vision. And a trance is when every natural sense is suspended. Individuals might be on a trance for 24 hours. And if they were in the midst of saying something or pointing, that's where they would freeze. And they would stay in that position. They wouldn't leave to go to the washroom. They wouldn't leave to lie down. They would stay in a froze or a trance position and awaken. When they awaken out of it, when they begin to come back to, in the sense of you were aware that they were conscious of you and not conscious of whatever they were seeing, they would have had a spiritual experience with the Lord in that time. And so many incidences were known for Marie Woodworth-Etter's meetings that individuals would fall into trances, and when they came out of it, their life was changed. They had supernatural experiences with the Lord, which was incredible. She also was an advocate of the baptism of the Holy Spirit. I hope you're hearing the thread, because all these things have not been able to happen without being empowered by the Holy Spirit. And so many people got filled with the Holy Spirit. Many people were able to come to the knowledge of Christ, which was miraculous. And then the signs and wonders that would take place. Now, there was also a lot of adversity, and people would come to shut down her meetings. There was one group of men that came ready with bats and what have you, and they were going to do some damage, and they were going to shut down the meeting. But God just gave her wisdom, and in the midst of it, she said to them, to the whole crowd, everyone that acknowledges Jesus as Lord, sit down right now. And so the whole room sat down except these guys who wouldn't acknowledge God. And so immediately they were exposed. They saw that they had come in to do danger and trouble, and they were able to be exited off the building. I mean, God just gave her supernatural wisdom and favor, so that those that would try to come against her, those that would try to come and harm her, God averted that situation every single time. She was a trailblazer for women in ministry, but also she was a revivalist. And so oftentimes other revivalists that followed her ministry, that would come to towns and places after she had been there, had a different experience, because she was, what we would call it today, she was the breaker. She would break a town open. She would break a region open, so that hearts would not be stiff and hard-hearted against the gospel. And already lives would be changed, and there would be a hunger that would be stirred by individuals that were taking hold. She purchased an 8,000 seat tent and filled it for her meetings. She built churches. She preached to thousands and blazed a trail that empowered others to follow and make a difference. In a day where these tent meetings were just really, very, very new, there was Marie Woodworth-Etter understanding the strength of having a place to meet and filling that tent again and again. Her message was simple. Her message was clear. She preached the gospel. Everyone needs to be saved. She preached the demonstration of power by the Holy Spirit, and God began to show up. Now, one of the things that is phenomenal about Marie Woodworth-Etter's ministry is that she would allow such a presence of God to be in the meetings that individuals could not help but sense. There was a move, there was a strength, there was a heaviness of the supernatural kind that caused individuals to say, what is going on here? They said when you experienced her meeting, you came out differently. You could not deny the power of God had shown up and was there. An incredible woman that took on a very difficult journey, but one that she continued to fulfill all the days of her life and impact so many individuals. We don't say enough about the presence of God, but in one moment in the presence of God, it will change your life. I want to encourage you today, come into the presence of the Lord in worship. Come into his presence in prayer. Come into his presence with thanksgiving. But recognize the presence of the Lord. It is the transforming power of God. When people got into the presence of Jesus, they were not the same. They were changed. And just as Marie Woodworth-Etter brought the presence of God into a reality of so many lives, you and I are walking, living temples of the presence of God. Let's us see change too by those that are around our lives experiencing God, even as Marie Woodworth-Etter. Well, God bless you. We will see you next Tuesday.